How are you doing? Morning, guys. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful day. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful weekend. And hopefully we can continue that on going into earnings this week, right? Nothing really too crazy today on the docket. Today we still look to be trading inside Friday's range. Really just doing a little bit more balancing. Nothing too exciting yet. If we do take a peek around the block here, we can see Bitcoin futures are down a little bit here. Oil is balancing as well. ES is balancing. Gold came back down a little bit after a nice little pop. Good morning, Trin. NASDAQ is still going up. Broke its high and low from Friday. The Russell, same idea. And the Dow is still one time framing up, but only for the second day in a row, as it had that retest of that 50 SMA on Thursday last week. Nothing really too insane so far, right? If we take a peek at Apple. Apple's kind of, coming back down after pushing up pre-market. Amazon kind of doing the same thing. Google, same idea. Meta still on the lows after getting punished last week. They've got earnings tomorrow. Netflix is just kind of chilling, and Tesla is pretty much just chilling as well. Buzz, yo, what's up, man? How's it going? Oops. Let me post a video real quick, and we'll get going. And Jim Dalton was on this morning. He had a free webinar. I don't know if anyone attended it, but I'm sure he had some good information. So if you attended it and want to share, just let us know. Probably talked a bit about balance, because that's what kind of seems like the market's up to right now. I'm doing well, man. I am doing well. Yeah, nice weekend. We did have a storm come in, late in the weekend yesterday, like last night, really, and it's still kind of going on right now. So if I have any internet issues, it's probably related to the storm. It's pretty windy and rainy outside here in the northeast part of Pennsylvania. But I mean, it was really nice all weekend. Nice swimming, just hanging out. So let's take a peek, I guess, at while we've got some time, kind of on how Friday's session ended up playing out. We can see, for the most part, Friday's session, we had that impulse marked early, but Friday's session really just kind of started to one time frame lower, and it looked like they just kind of ran out of steam, and then the market short covered into the end of the day. So today, as the market's coming back down now to correct some of this long inventory, I'll be looking for a reaction off this 3960 level. Remember, we have this balance high. This previous balance zone high is at 3950 here. Or no, where is it at? What are we doing here? Oh, it's the weekly balance. The weekly balance is at 3950. So, we'll be kind of watching this 3950 to right here to see if we're going to get a reaction off of that. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market kind of break down and start to fill in some of this area where we have this weak structure leading into Wednesday, right, which is where the Fed decision is. And then we have some pretty big earnings coming up this week as well. Oops, wrong button. Discord that. Discord. We've got some. Well, this is last week. Got some big earnings coming in tomorrow. We've got Coca-Cola, McDonald's, UPS, General Electric, General Motors. Then after the close on Tuesday, that's going to be the big day. We've got Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Visa, Texas. I can't remember what their one is, but it's an energy company. And then Starbucks, right? So three of the big names leading into earnings. I'm kind of I don't want to say like, cautiously hopeful, but I think Facebook might have a chance to get a rise out of earnings. They've been getting beaten down because Snapchat is getting just smacked. Good morning, Adam. But we'll kind of see what goes from there. And then we have Amazon and Apple on Thursday, right? So some bigger names on Thursday as well. About 1/3 of the S&P 500 report earnings this week. So pretty big percentage of the S&P 500 is going to be reporting earnings coming into this week, or as the week's over. Nancy Pelosi's starting to start a war still. Their visit to Taiwan. I guess China said something about excuse me, about a possible response from her doing that. They weren't really a huge fan of it, so pretty interesting. But we'll kind of see what comes of that as the week goes on. Remember, she took a huge stake in Nvidia. And that was, I think it was last Tuesday. We can see, Wednesday here, or Thursday here, Friday here. So probably her selling some of those options. And see some of the chip makers really kind of struggling all of a sudden too, except Intel. Intel's actually not doing terrible comparatively to in the past couple of days. That's Friday, but really just traded sideways, not really down as much as some of the other ones, down about $1 here. The big news this week also is that, Google and Apple have decided to slow their hiring. That's a big, I guess, announcement for them, because we're looking at these companies as some of the biggest companies. To me, I see that as strength for the economy, just because it's going to kind of limit like the monopoly aspect of it, right? Like, there seems to be a monopoly with some of these companies. There's 6 companies ish, right? You got Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, and Meta that pretty much control the movement of the S&P 500 for the most part. And really, if these stocks are going down, then the market's typically going down. If they're going up, then the market's typically going up. Yeah, we have some outlying outliers in scenarios sometimes where they can all be going down, but the market still goes up, but not significantly. And this could be, a rebalance of the S&P, which is something that we've talked about before, where we're looking for a rebalance. And, it would make sense to take away some of the power and bring some of these other companies, back down to the real world and out of the fantasy land that they've been living in since COVID started. So, it kind of makes sense to me. I did read some news about a privately traded company that makes your favorite uh M&Ms, and about Skittles not being sold in California anymore, something like that, or they're going to be taking off the shelves in California because they contain some type of metal in them that can, sneak through your cells or whatever and kind of mess up your internals. So that's going to be something to look out for, because even though they're not a publicly traded company, some of these other publicly traded companies like Procter Gamble, General Mills, some of these, they're going to be, now that they've done the research into them, they're going to do the research into these other companies and see if they have any of the similar products or similar ingredients into some of the other products. And, that could be detrimental to those environments. Good morning, Caesar. Eldora, good morning. So just something that I'll be definitely uh looking out for sure. Got about 9 minutes left until the market opens. Pop, good morning. I think I'm tired because I didn't really get to get a full workout, and it started raining while I was working out outside, so then I had to come back inside. Trying to wake myself up here. Another thing that came out this weekend too was that Elon, I guess, had a secret affair with like the creator or one of the original Google members' wives. So that's not, I mean, you know, obviously he's just, rich and just does give no fucks at all. Elon equals the top shagger. Visual trader, I'm up in northeast Pennsylvania, Nepa area. Oh, and just a heads up, also this Friday, we might not have a stream. I'm gonna be probably heading to the beach for the weekend if the weather permits. I think we've found a hotel down on the beach and go stay on the beach for a weekend before my wife starts work up next month. And then we got school starting next month in September. Well, a month and a week, I guess. And then hopefully in 2 weeks, I'll be moving into my new house as long as everything goes through and closes. Yeah, visual trader, everything is green out here. It's nice. Definitely a big change from California where I've been at for the past 5 years. So it is nice. I mean, even you go to like a gas station, and it's just like there's just green everywhere. Like, plants behind the gas station, they're green. It's not, everything's just not dead all the time. So it's really nice. Exciting for me too. I saw that California is kind of on fire. So glad that this place is not on fire. I'll deal with little thunderstorms. Where are you at, Visual Trader? You down in Cali? Or Tejas? was pretty brown when I drove through there not too long ago. So let's just talk about what we're kind of expecting on the open, right? We do have this very prominent point of control, so I wouldn't be surprised to see inventory correct down, maybe get some buying up here at the settle. If buyers are able to hold this settle, we'll be looking to repair that poor high on the Globex session, get back into these single prints where we do have some longs that are still trapped from the weekend. So maybe some responsive selling here. If they're able to hold price up here and we don't get really too far of a pullback, then we'll be looking to test that high, or that impulse high, that B high up to, maybe even to the A high. Remember, on a weekly level, we are in a breakout of balance. So if we're able to hold that 39.50, that's kind of really where I'm drawing this line. But even honestly, even if we do get a pullback even farther, I am kind of expecting a bunch of short covering to happen down here in these single prints, and that's probably where we could just start our balance from and get a little bit of balance here. So, but let's go ahead and get our. Oh, you're in Vegas? Oh yeah, yeah. That's where Jared's at too. Yeah, it's pretty brown there. That's for sure. Yeah, I just drove through there as well. Um, we've got about 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy going. Wake everybody up. All right. Now we've heard the opening reveille. We've all signed into formation, and we are ready to trade. Caesar, in today's session, can you talk us through inventory, intraday, and multiple day, basically the market participants' behavior, and how we can get an idea of what actual participants are doing when the price bounces back and forth? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I mean, it looked like we had a responsive seller, even though it probably was a shorter time frame responsive seller. Was able to push the market down. There was really no buyers, right? Shorter term buyers got trapped right here. They liquidated, and then started to responsively buy below the previous day's value. So I would expect this area as a long area and expect people to buy in this area again, right? 39.60 to 39.40, huge area, and that's why we have to try to decipher intraday levels while the market starts to trade. But as we go on from there, we can expect maybe this responsive seller to move down and start selling more around these single prints. If longs start to cover their positions, that'll give us more balance, and we'll probably end up getting a profile that looks similar to this, with excess up on the high, maybe excess down here below below Friday's low, and then trade in between. But I mean, really the only thing that will tell us is time. Let's get after it. Morning, Den. One quick peek around the block. Dollars red, oil's green, ES is green, gold is red, NASDAQ green, Russell green, Dow green, bonds red. 30 seconds. Morning, LUP. All right, here's the opening bell. See what we get. Little initial auction to the downside, cross over the open and bounce back above it. Back to the open. Buyers step up on the open here. So still not a close of those Globex single prints. Not that I'm a huge believer in Globex single prints, but you know, you can imagine that somebody probably got liquidated there, an overnight trader, and seeing a little bit of short covering going on. Back to the open, below the open. So now we've crossed over the open twice. We know when we open inside the previous day's range that early on the market tends to be a bit choppy before it makes its decision. And we know when a market is going back and forth across the open that it is undecided or indecisive. Redundancy, do I listen to Tom McDonald? Yeah, I've listened to his songs, yeah. I think I probably listened to Tom McDonald before he started getting super popular now. I like a lot of his songs because he just fucks off. And he just says whatever he wants. I mean, I kind of, you know, even if I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says, like, he does say what he wants to say, and I respect that out of people. People that are true to themselves, I think, are better than people that bend to the will of others, right? It's like the whole thing that goes on now is like people would rather be wrong with the majority than stand for what's right. And you know, I'm not about that life. I'd rather be, you know, I'd rather just stand for what's right. See, Apple's ticking up here, but the market's ticking down a little bit, but Apple's starting to come up to try to break its high of Globex, or its previous night session. That's awesome though. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. You know, if people stand up for what they believe in, you know, that's what everyone should try to do, even if it's not popular. Oh, Apple coming right to that level. We can see the breadth is, you know, pretty much flat, a little negative on the NYSE, positive on the NASDAQ. Healthcare and communication services, the only green sectors so far this morning. And here we go. The market's coming back down, close those through those single prints and looking probably to trade back down towards that settle here. The Apple's up 0.43, AMD's down, Amazon up 0.6, Google's up 1.4, Meta's up 0.35, Microsoft up 0.4, Netflix up 1.3, Tesla's up 0.2. I don't know if I updated my open interest levels here. I don't think I did. Update them right now. Back down to the settle. So looking to trade back down to that Globex point of control at the 60 here. See how the market acts down here. Little volatility coming into Apple here. You see that zero gamma levels way down here on Apple 144. Weak spot on the profile right here, 62.5. So if buyers get above 62.5, it does look like we're seeing some volume come in here down at the lows. The buyers need to get above 62.5. That's a number I'm going to write down, 62.5. Buyers are trapped up there. Bot got into a put today. Nice, so there must be some downside volume, especially in those chip makers. A little bit of short covering there. Push right through. But looking to repair that Globex low now. If buyers don't step up down here, we have that point of control from Friday. We don't see buyers step up, then they'll target that Globex low. We're still inside the Globex session though, so nothing really pointing us to anything but more chop, honestly. Remember, we're watching that 62.5 level. 62.5, a break of the 62.5 probably take the market back up to around 66. Or 65, excuse me, the settle 65. Happens to be the point of or the half back from today's session as well. So above that, that's probably where they'll target. Volume still coming in. There they go. But when I say, like, you know, buyers have to get above 62.5, that's like when I'm saying that, or what's going through my brain when I'm saying that, is that I'm not going to be getting long until we get above that level, or we see how that level gets tested, right? It's a very weak level in the profile, and I want to see if sellers are willing to move down to that level to continue this move, right? We've obviously came down basically since the open, looked above the open real quick, and then traded lower. So I'm being patient, waiting for us to get above that level and see some buying to take it higher, and then, you know, targeting that 65 as you know, it's the settle. You could see some more mechanical sellers come out at that level. So if mechanical sellers come out and then some other, you know, bigger money sellers come out at that same spot, you know, it's an area where I want to be selling into some strength, and I can expect some sellers coming into that area. The tempo is pretty slow, not really anything too crazy yet so far. Apple's coming down now. Google, Netflix, the only thing that are still red. Meta turned, or the only thing that are still green. Meta turned red. Microsoft turned red. Tesla turned red. Seeing the breath turn all the way red. Healthcare and utility is the only sectors that are still green so far. Staples turn just is flipping back to green. Communication services trying to turn green as well. A very mixed bag so far. See the tick, looks like it's getting bought off of the 0 level here. Starting to see what looks like to me shorts covering here at the 58. But we'll only know if they get above that 62.5. And even then, there's no knowing, it's just more of approximation. more like guidelines. Kevin, good morning. There's that 62.5. It pops it. So let's watch the 65s. Mechanical selling off the settle. See how strong it is, right? If we don't get a lot of strength coming off of this selling, then we can just expect pretty much short covering back up into, probably, I mean, shit. That's a pretty strong reaction off the Friday's point of control. Our next target will probably be that 71.25, the open. Seller's going to be looking to push it back below the 62 now, right? That was that weak spot before. That's where they'll look to push it back below. Look to see them pop the settle and hold above the settle. They're holding it right below the settle, getting some volume coming in here. You're also getting some longs taking profit. At least that's what it looks like to me. Real kind of a battle over this settle here, this 65. Seller's really moving down, trying to front run the settle. And this halfback is also right here as well. You can see the point of control switch right to that settle. So very short-term time frame traders kind of in control of the action right here. Let's see if they hold the settle this time. If they flip, short-term traders flip, they should probably try to push it back up to the open. Or 62.5 is the flip on the downside now. My weekend was great, Kevin. How was yours? That's the half back of each period. Yep. So back up to the open here, almost. A little bit of front running on the open, some selling coming in that 68.5, 69. We're coming right up to the VWAP right here as well. The Globex, or the weekly VWAP. Starting to see some inventory come in on the 70. So selling off the open holds for now. Let's see if they're able to crack above that open again as they come back down to the settle. You saw the shorter term time freighter. I don't know why I keep saying time freighters. Time frame traders flip off of that settle. You got a very weak spot at the 66, another weak spot down at the 62.5. But it looks like these buyers, or these, initially sellers, have flipped. But now we're seeing more selling off of the open, more mechanical selling off of the open there. Trying to do a little bit of backing and filling. They're going to test this 66 to see if buyers are still willing to step up. Sellers are still moving down though. We're watching that 62 half. That was kind of the flip zone on the way up. We'll watch it again on the way down, see if they're able to fill it back in. Morning, Kevin. Crypto Mojo, good morning. Now we got two Kevins in here. Look at Microsoft getting punishment again. All right, we saw Microsoft get punishment the past couple of weeks. It had a decent week last week with everything coming up. Meta's actually not doing too bad, and Meta I kind of think might be the sleeper for this week, where people are just expecting it to go back down, and it might get an opportunity to run back up. So we'll have to be, I'll definitely be watching that this week for sure. Tesla's still coming down, not really looking too hot here. Take a peek at the triple Q. Triple Q is not doing great either, and this is kind of the combination of all of these tech stocks here. So back to the settle, the market did find a little bit of buyers there, but remember these shorter term time frame traders are willing to flip. They're not married to any position. So if all of a sudden the momentum starts to build below that Friday settle, then they'll start to flip back. We saw them flip to the upside already around that 62 area. So let's see on a retest of this 62 area if they want to flip back down here. Looking for them to flip, coming down to that 62 half. Nice little volume push there. So here's that 62 half. Looks like shorts just tried to pile in there and might have gotten trapped here on the 63 quarter. So sellers don't get back below 63 quarter and we pop the open or pop the settle, you might see a run back to the open. I mean, excuse me. They need to push it back down below this 63 quarter. That's where I think sellers got trapped just now. Hey, how'd you sleep? When a control shifts down, we're getting volume down right here. So if the volume's coming down, here's that 63 quarter again. There they go. They finally were able to break it. Looks like they covered again there. So not really, at least not that I'm seeing any real conviction from the selling. And there's the pop of the settle. So be careful here. They might run this thing back up to the open. How's my headphone already dead? It's a different one. Okay. Well, sellers still trying to hold. So there's still some shorter term time frame traders in here, but it just doesn't look like they have a ton of conviction, right? They've been kind of pushing it down a little bit, but then the retreats from these have been just going here, and starting to see like the market's getting above the settle here. But this could just be a little bit of backing and filling from the sellers. It looks like sellers are kind of weak so far. but everything is kind of heading down here. The breath did just flip back to green. You can see our unweighted sectors leading us up here. The tick looks like it's getting bought up off the 0 level. But just like I said, no real conviction from sellers there yet. Not that I've seen, at least. Oh, back to the open almost, which is what we expected here. Right, so good identification of the sellers getting trapped there on that 63.25. They tried to go back below again, and as soon as they got back below, they had just short covered, popped it back above the settle, and then now we're seeing a little bit of selling here on that 69 though. Gets absorbed by buyers. Buyers will keep running this thing up. You've got trap sellers now, the 68.25. It looked like right there. If they get back down there, they do. Only 6 contracts traded on that though. Buyers still stepping up. So look for them to try to pop this open. And if they do pop the open, you'll be probably looking for a push back up to Friday's half back up that 39.79, or maybe that 39.83.75 to the start of those single prints if buyers are flipping. You know, nothing really saying that we're going to get any too crazy of a movement. So we do definitely want to temper our expectations and not really be taking any breakouts yet. You know, the breath is pretty mixed. So today's a day to just be responsive and be patient and take the high quality trades. Microsoft really just lagging the market down here, getting just crushed here. It's just mechanical selling off of the open there. See if they do anything else here. So a good sign for more continuation to the upside would be to see this volume point of control shift back to the upside. That's kind of what eluded us to maybe these shorts getting trapped here, is volume shift down, but we didn't get any continuation. So same idea, if volume shifts up and we don't get any continuation, then we're probably in store for some more rotation. That was a mouthful. 7 minutes or 6-ish minutes left until that first period is over here. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, do me a favor and go ahead and smash that like button. That way we can start sharing high quality information with as many people as possible. We all know that with the current geopolitical conditions out there, so there goes the point of control shifts up. So now we watch for continuation here. But we all know as this geopolitical stuff is going on that, you know, people could use some extra income, and if we can help them get to that goal, then, you know, why not? Sellers trying to come down here and sell this 69 half again. Starting to see some of the sectors, more sectors flip green here. Healthcare, financials, consumer discretionary, industrials, staples, utilities, and real estate. And then there goes energy flipping green as well. So We're back above the point of control. Let's see if we can get continuation. No continuation, probably tell us back to the fade, come back down to the settle. We do get continuation and pop above that open. We'll look for the market to hold above the open to get some continuation here. Nice. There goes the open. Now let's see if we're monitor for continuation here. First target's gonna be that 79, and then second target's gonna be up at those single prints to try to check and see if anyone's still alive from Friday. Next weak spot up on the profile is like that 77, 79. There they go. So continuation here, we had the point of control shift up and we get continuation. A little bit of it, 9 contracts traded on that high. Actually about 39 contracts traded on that high here. Look to see for any responsive action. Did look like we got those buyers that tried to buy the breakout on that 39 are kind of trapped up there as sellers start to pour back in here. Triple Q is trying to come back up above its open here. S&P trades back below its open, heading back to that 69.70 level. That was a big offer level for sellers. Kind of where a little impulse started from. Sellers just trying their best, but it kind of looks like buyers taking profit up here. There's a lot of buying up into this 72 this time, but we're not really getting any follow through. Let's see if they can push it up. If not, back down to that 69 again. So tight range so far still. Tommy must be in here today, giving us this 30-point range. Oh no, he's not here. He must be working. So watch the 72 this time. Looking for this seller to move out of the way. Buyers are definitely trying to soak this up, but the seller's still kind of holding strong here at 72. There they go. They get out of the way. See if we can get that half back this time. Back and forth across the open again here today, guys. No real follow through above the open though. Definitely kind of noting that. All right, we did get a little bit of an extension on the upside, but not really much follow through. All right, and that overnight volume point of control is sitting up there at the 84, where those buyers from Friday are probably trapped still. Here comes B period. Let's see what we get. H bands. What's up, man? So back to the open here. The seller was trying to absorb on 72, let him get above, but no continuation. That reoffer position looks like the 73. I think it started here like 73. So Caesar was asking, how do we track inventory, right? So as we came down, buyers gathered up a bunch of inventory, moved it up, and now they're distributing it, or how do you say it? Distributing it, all the inventory up here, right? And they're basically just letting the sellers, they bought everything and now they're selling the position. So they're letting these people, get whatever they want to get, right? Place their bets. And then from here, if if that's enough, it'll come back down to where the inventory was before. If not, and there's not enough people willing to take these positions on, then the market can continue to the upside. Seller's still sitting on that 72 again, moving down 226 lots. Let's see. Boom, buyers soak them in. So someone's trying to sell above the open. So someone's probably buying below the open and selling above. That's what that looks like, to be honest. Because every time we get up there, they cover and then the market comes back down. So that's kind of what it looks like here. Little rinse and repeat of mechanical traders buying below the open and selling above. And, probably someone taking the inverse to that, selling above and buying below. Disturbing it. Let's see. They're back at the open, looking for buyers to show up here, and that's, if they're going to be able to take that A high. Nothing really concrete here. Really tight range during this B period so far. Got like a 7-point range, 8-point range. Stuff is starting to turn green. Starting to see, look at the unweighted sectors really kind of leading the market up, but the weighted sectors are trying to catch up here. Information technology still holding down at the lows. We've got Apple down here still about 0.25. Amazon's up 0.1. Google's up 1%. Meta's down 0.25. Microsoft down 0.7. Netflix up 1.3. Tesla down 0.4. So, the bigger names, bigger weighted sectors in the market so far are still struggling for the most part. Kind of looks like it's just gonna about to rip up to the upside, to be honest with you, just because you just keep seeing this mechanical selling off of the open, and it's been working and it's working and it's working. But we'll kind of see what happens here. I got Apple up on the screen because Apple, I think, might lead the charge. Let's see if Apple gets back above its open. If not, like I said, that target down for these sellers is going to be the settle from Friday. So let's watch this half back. There's some buyers sitting on the 65 here. Sellers come in. Watch for them to hold it below the 65 this time. There they go. 62 half. This was a bigger level earlier this morning during A period. Could just be doing some backing and filling. We'll see if we get a little bit of short covering down here. Weak spot on the profile looks like 65 now. Just watch the 65 here. Above the 65, probably get short covering, take you back up to that 70. This is kind of a back and forth here in this really tight range. So here's the 65. Seller's still moving down here a little bit. Yeah, they get trapped. Yeah. What a treat that was. Nice, easy trade. Just waited for the sellers to get exhausted, and then as soon as they got above 65, they just covered right back into volume. And now it goes back into the chop. That seller sitting on the 69 half here. 69 half.
Went way down. Then you probably caught the long, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like I got the short, took some profit. You took the long and got some profit. I love trading.
Yeah, there's money. I mean, there's money to be made on both sides if you can just, understand the levels and kind of do some tracking of the inventory. It does kind of look like the downside is probably the safer trade. And those upside moves have just been kind of quick and then slowly trickled back down. But I just haven't seen any real conviction from either side. And,
Yeah,
just like your trade plan, right? You were looking for balance today. I was
yeah,
also looking for the same thing, balance. And pretty much that's what we're getting here with B being inside of A is just telling us that the market's indecisive and trying to balance here.
yeah.
So,
Well, we made a higher high Friday, but value shifted down. So it's like, we might be looking for some balance right about here.
right, I agree. A lot of stuff kind of popping up here. We're seeing the weighted sectors even start to get a little bit of green here as well. Starting to see our advanced decline shift up too. See if they can pop the open this time and run up a little bit here. Still no conviction. We are seeing some responsive selling here again on the 70. Let me look at the volume from that first period too. I forgot. About 18% less during A period than Friday's A period. I remember we had a big increase on Friday in the early part of the session, and that's evident obviously because we only have 4 TPOs up here, but the volume point of control was way up there, and then we've got 6 down here, but the volume, volume on Friday was just kind of a mess, right? And this is indicative of shorter term time frame traders really just getting scared out of all their positions and emotional trading. Inventory is a very important part of the puzzle, I think. I'm just trying to get my head around short-term inventory rotation. Yeah, I mean it definitely is. The bigger time frame inventory is the real key. If I had to make a choice on whether to be able to identify longer term inventory and for shorter term inventory, I would pick longer term. But intraday, it is a skill really to start identifying what the inventory is trying to do. Really, we have no idea here, no key hard facts, at least with still being inside Friday's range, still being inside Globex range, still being inside Friday's value area. So really at this point, we just have Friday overlapping. That's why I'd like to see the market go up there and test those single prints above and see if we get a response from the, these shorter term responsive sellers that were active on Friday. And then see if we get, these longs start to liquidate at these higher prices, and that could bring us back down into value. It's also that value area high. Really, this move off of that Friday's point of control, typically, to me, I kind of think that with a reaction like that, once these shorter term sellers are exhausted, if they get exhausted, right, then the target will probably be this 39.88 to 4003, which was Thursday's high, the T2 high. But key indication of that would be these single prints. And then, I mean, like I said, we're still inside the Globex range. That's really gonna give us a little bit more evidence of who's kind of running in charge so far. It's just that we came close to the Globex low and couldn't break it, so I started kind of leaning to the upside ever since we put this excess down on the A side. Not saying that that's the right way, because it does look like we're making lower highs here, right? Especially B period not able to take out that A period after coming within 3 ticks, but I'm gonna have to wait and see. You can see the thing that is making me a little bit nervous here is this what's it called? Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Is that there's just really been no continuation above the open. There's just been no buying. You can see it just tapers right off after the open, gets above the open, and then longs just start to cover. So that just kind of makes me think that there's just no real serious buying from these market players here right now. But there hasn't been really any serious selling either. I'm trying to see if my headphones are working. Here. Somebody say something. See if I can hear them.
I got you. You got me.
Nice. Yeah, I do. Okay.
Sweet.
Just had to switch ears with the headphones. Forgot to charge it. So here comes B period back down to that Globex point of control. A little bit of a reaction there right off that Globex point of control. That could be mechanical buying there too, so just be careful of anything. You do look like you got some shorts trapped on the 60-50 right there though. So look at these sellers to come back in and try to get below that 60-50, 60 quarter. You guys want to go see that movie today? Yeah. No. Yeah, it's either that movie or Top Gun, but the kids probably won't really enjoy Top Gun as much. Even though it's just such a good movie. Looks like the bot is going to do pretty well today. Nice. Yeah, AMD is getting just the smackdown of a lifetime right now. Down about 3% already. Coming down to its negative, or zero, is that zero gamma? No, zero gamma's up here. So yeah, just coming down to a negative level here. So if you imagine with me for a second that a market maker is short or is short these puts, these 85 puts, so he sold them to somebody. So if it gets below here and starts to hold, the market maker should come in and start to sell AMD shares, which would probably drive it back down to our next level. 82, 55 is the next level I have down on there. You'll be praying for that. It's 8 contracts in, so it's been doubling down, huh?
It gets into one contract at the beginning. Well, 2 contracts at the beginning. I have it buying every time it does a buy, it does 2 contracts.
Okay.
And it did an initial buy at open, and then it did 2 buy-ins because it was going in the wrong direction to I can't remember what you guys call it, averaging in. And then it did one more once it started going in the right direction, which is what I call a double down. So that's the 8 contracts.
Oh, okay, nice. So the sellers are still coming, they're moving down mechanical positions here. So they move down on that 62. So above 62, you'll be looking to trade above 65 again. And then above 65, you'll be looking to go back to the open. This thing is just really just kind of stuck in here, and still about 10 minutes left until the next period opens up. Apple's red down about 0.8, Microsoft 0.1%, Google's up 0.2, Amazon 0.3, Tesla or negative 0.3, excuse me, Tesla's negative 0.7, Meta negative 0.9, Netflix is green 0.8. The VIX is up, but up about 2%, 2360. Nothing really too crazy though. So pop the 6250, looking for the 65. What is interesting, and I do want to show you guys this, I know the market's got a little bit of doing nothing right now. Something I was looking at this morning that we don't really see a lot. So here's the all-time high. We'll just zoom this in. So this is January. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. And we'll take it step by step here. But as we can see on this move down, right? So here's a move down, and then a move up starts here, okay? So move up, volume comes down. Price comes down, and this is here. Volume goes up, okay? Price moves up, From here, volume moves down. Price moves down, volume moves up. Price moves up, volume moves down. Price moves down, volume moves up. Price moves up, volume moves, I mean, not really up, right? It goes to right there. So volume moved up a little bit, but then price really starts to move down. So price came down hard right here. Volume moved up. Price moved up. Volume moved down. Price moved down. Volume moved up. Price moved up. Volume moved down. Price moved down. Volume moved up. Price moved up. Volume moved up. That's the only time I said that since January. That volume has increased on the way up. Something I noticed this morning, and I just thought, not necessarily saying like, okay, this thing can continue to the upside, but if we look over here at the COT report as well, we can see here that leveraged funds are big time short, right? So here's, and this is as of last Tuesday, the 19th, but we can see, where's the pen? There we go. Dealers got long, right? Dealers added to their long position, cut their short. So they basically just cut their shorts, added it to their long. That gives me kind of a net zero here, right? Buyers took some profit, but they also cut some short. So if anything, I mean, really, they're kind of flat. That's kind of a zero here. But you can see they added to the long leverage funds, but they added 65K. So they're net short. And these other two really don't matter at all because they're just too small to matter. We go down here and you can see dealers are about 69% long, 30% short. Asset managers are about 50-50, a little bit net long. Look at leveraged money though, 80% short. And if we come back down to this chart here and we really kind of just zoom this thing back into 2020, you can see here on the current date, this green line, let's get rid of these other two. So you can see asset managers are starting to buy, dealers are starting to buy, and leverage money is coming short. And the last time that we saw this leverage money really get short was right here at the COVID low. They really started to get short, and the market went up, from 21 to, close, about 1,000 points. Not saying that that's what's going to happen now, but definitely something to note as these get farther apart. It's just something interesting to kind of notice. And as leveraged money gets short, dealers start to soak that in, and they're getting back to, dealers and asset managers are just relatively above zero, but these leveraged money are really, really short. Just, I don't know, just something that I've noticed. It was just kind of an interesting thing. I just haven't seen the volume increase on the way up since January. Mechanical selling off that settle. We've got about 4 minutes left until the next period opens up. Probably just a bit more chop until then. Remember, the market is balancing right now, so anything that you take, any trades that you're taking right now, you just want to be careful, because a breakout of balance the market will look to go with. You'll look to see continuation, look to see if volume comes in. If not, you get a retraction back into the A balance area. You might see move. Oh, there's the C. There it goes. This is why you got to be careful. looking to push that low. Some strong selling coming in. I don't know if there's some news that just came out or what.
Catch the knife. Don't do that.
Look at the weighted sectors really starting to flip over. Way up on your 2 sim accounts. Nothing wrong with that. Russia's gas prime is halting. There's some news that's hitting right now. That might be why this is coming back down. And we've got some data coming out from the Dallas Fed here in like a minute. So they break that Globex low here, opening up the downside for repair of that Friday's poor low. Emotional response. Sellers got a little bit too short there. $332 or ticks. D period's opening up into a minute. We should get some more filling. Backtesting shows it works, but there is one thing I have learned is that technology is never your friend. Yeah, that's a fact. So we're coming back up to that 62.5, which has been kind of a big level today for sellers really trying to hold price below there, or really being active at that level at least. Let's see as the C period opens up if we're going to get any more active selling down here at the lows. Apple's still coming down. Pretty much everything is flipped to red now. Look at the weighted sectors starting to turn over, unweighted sectors. That big spike down to the low, and now here comes some selling in the market here. NYSE is basically flat. NASDAQ pretty much flat too. European gas just shot up about 10%. Watch this C high. Shorts got covered right there. Selling, mechanical selling off the half back on the 62 half again. Not seeing a lot of aggression from these buyers, but some of these sellers are trying to be aggressive down here. They're still defending that half back. Seller's still offering this 60 here. Moving down. So Dallas Fed news just came out. It's a little bit more negative than they expected. Not really seeing much reaction. Apple's down 0.8, Microsoft down 1%, Google's still green, Amazon down 0.3, almost 0.4, Tesla's basically flat, Meta's down 1%, AMD bounced about 1%, they're up, or they're down about 2.3 now, so good sell, my Uncle Stacy. Netflix 1.3. The VIX is still up about 3%, but below 24 still. Still elevated though. The C high is mechanical here, right off the half back. So even if we did get extension on the downside, that's a point that you want to carry forward. So if you don't write that down, and let's say we trend down for the rest of the day, when we come back up to this level, you're probably not going to remember it. So write it down. We could just take it out, and then you can just scratch it out if we take it out. But it's just an important level to remember. 62 half, just been a big area today. Healthcare is about to break down to flat, and you can see, right, healthcare has been kind of the one that's been green all day, so this might be some more downside here. There it goes. Watch this 56 half level here. Yeah, they just come right above it. Sellers are trying to be active here. Let's watch Google. It's pretty much the only thing that's showing up as green today. It's about to go red here. by breaking the close from Friday. Netflix is still green. There goes the market. A little bit of short covering on that 52, 53 area. Look at the weighted sectors, really not getting as much selling as they were on the buy side. It's kind of interesting. Oops. Pull up the volume. Volume 17% less during B period, so really no change, just less volume than Friday. Hopefully somebody caught that nice little responsive buying there. I tried to get filled, but missed it. Wasn't aggressive enough. Big sell order on the 56 quarter here, 103 lots. And that was 10:35, so that was about 3 minutes ago.
Did not hit your number?
My fill was too low. I was trying to get filled at 53.75, but it didn't come back down to me, and just ended up kept going up, and I didn't chase it. You got that 52 half?
How often does
Nice.
it,
What's that?
does it ever hit your number? Does it ever hit your number, but it doesn't fill?
I mean, rarely you'll see that happen on the ES because of the liquidity is so good, but
'Cause that happens in crypto a lot of stuff.
yeah. Nice job, TJ. There's a big sell order on the 57 quarter, and then a buy order on the 57 quarter. So it looked like someone got in and just changed their mind and got out. So watch this 57 level here. Nice. First trade in 52 half, out 59 half. Nice. 7-point trade to start the day. That's what's up. Seller's trying to come down on this 55 half here. Like they're trapped. Yeah, they are trapped. They got to get below this 56 half. If not, they're trapped down on that 55 half here. They're trying again right here on the 57 half. They're fucked. Careful for the pop to up to that 62 half if they can't get back below this 57 half. Or 56 half, I mean, excuse me. Like clockwork.
Every time.
Yeah, these sneaky fuckers. Like, it's just so easy to catch them when there's low liquidity, you know what I mean? Like, because it's just
Yeah.
shorter time frame traders. You see them, they try to get aggressive. We saw the volume pop in, and they got stuck, and then, you know, we just get free lunch. Sensible music. Hey, I'm new in what is this market? What do you think about Sachi token today from 37 to $5 is crazy? Is it good or a scam? Or is this contract address? Let's see. Let's pull it up here. Sachi token. I haven't even really been looking at the cryptoverse. Really, yeah, there goes that short cover.
What's the name of it?
Sachi. What's the ticker? SATOC Jai. Sachi. Is it the green Satoshi token? Let's take a peek. Nope. Sounds like a pump and dump coin. Yeah, it does kind of look like that as well.
Sachi or Satoshi?
Satoshi, my bad. Satoshi. Yeah, it looks
The inventor of Bitcoin.
like you know, it doesn't look good. That's for sure. Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of these you know, shit coins are just scams, to be honest. I mean, there's people getting indicted over a lot of issues right now. You saw the makers of Coinbase or the owners of Coinbase get indicted over NFTs, so that should just kind of allude you to, you know, that the probabilities or possibilities of these lower tokens that aren't attached to anything are, you know, probably bullshit.
I mean, they don't even have a business. I mean, they don't even have a use case.
Right. But it's just a way to transfer money. That's all it is. So that, like, they get a bunch of people, you know, you create them. All these creators have all this, you know, tokens at like 0.000001. They start to pump it up. They put all their money into it. And when you have, you know, 1 billion coins, you don't need the coin to go from, I mean, use Doge, for example. You know what I mean? Look at Dogecoin. People are still holding on to Dogecoin like they're holding on to AMC and to GME and all these things that they're just hoping and praying, and you know, maybe one day they will go up, you know, but it's all about, you know, what you're willing to do with it, right? There's a lot of people that are probably still in Dogecoin from like 65 cents or 70 cents, and they're just kind of stuck in there.
Well, I can't lie about that shit at 30 cents.
Well, hopefully you got out of it before.
I know how much before. In my defense, he was going on Saturday Night Live that night, so you know, but he totally bombed.
Yeah, and I sold like a couple days before. So I sold definitely too early on Dogecoin, but I was also in at 0.0002, so. But I never, I mean, for me, I was just looking at it like a hype train, really just kind of trading the hype. I didn't really think that it has any utility other than it was attached to Elon hyping it up, and that was it. But Elon does the same thing. He always hypes stuff up. Tries to, at least.
He's pretty smart, dude. And he sold that Bitcoin good. He sold that Bitcoin at 29,000, which I'm not sure how he did that when it's only at 24 the day he did it. But he's smart at that shit.
Well, yeah, and he talked about the loss that they took on it, and he is using that loss as a tax write-off. That's why he bought it through Tesla, so he could write
Well,
it.
but also without that sale, he would have had a negative cash flow for that quarter. It was only 600 million with that sale. It was 2.2 billion the quarter before, so that's a pretty huge loss.
Right, but if he gets to write it off, he's excited about that. So market's coming back up towards that open, that 71 quarter. Sellers offer the 67 level here. Watch above that. If the market gets above that 67. Weak spot's at 62.5 again. So if we gets back below that 62.5, probably trade back down to the 57. We're in about a 10-point range here. Offer and bid. You think that sensible music guy was just shilling some shitcoin? Oh yeah, probably. Probably.
Then you got like Bill Gates, who just donated his entire fortune to charity. Of course, his own charity that he's in charge of.
Crazy how that works. It's like, I'm going to donate a bunch of money to myself so I can spend it without paying tax on it.
There you go.
A little bit of volume increase on this upside here. Let's see if they are able to pop above and get some continuation. Remember this, if we do pop the B high, an early cessation of one time framing just tells us that the market will probably become even more rotational than it already is. And that's just, letting you know that you want to be managing risk a little bit more tightly as, especially in these chop zones. So sellers still holding this 67 here. Buyers trying to absorb on a 65. See if they can get him this time. I'm just waiting for these sellers to get trapped up here trying to oversell this 67 again. There they go. They're trapped on the 66.75 this time. If they can't get back below that 66.75, this thing will pop back up to the open. Well, they're trying. They're struggling though. Oh, one tick. There they go. Selling off the B open, mechanical selling off the B open. It's also the point of control though, so you might get a stronger reaction right here. Watching that 66.75 level, that's where it looks like some sellers are trapped at. There they go. Able to get back down. See a little bit of covering here. Back down to 66.75. Yeah, they were able to sneak out of there. Weak spot on the profile still that 62.5 here, so buyers are looking to hold above 62.5, sellers looking to get down below 62.5. Starting to see the offer move down here a little bit. Little look around the block here. We've got about 5 minutes until the next period opens up. You've got Apple down 0.6, Microsoft down 0.7, Google's flipped negative. It's down or it's actually about flat. Amazon is down 0.25, Tesla's about flat, Meta's down 1.24, AMD's 2.6, Netflix up 0.39. The VIX only up 2.4%, coming down just a percentage. The Dow is green, the Russell is green, so the Nasdaq and the ES kind of leading or lagging, excuse me. Really, the Nasdaq down 0.5, ES is about flat. Where's oil at? Oil's up 1.34 at sitting at $96. Look to see if they're going to try to go for that open before this next period opens up. Go. Weak spot here at 69.25. Sellers trying to push down, not having any success yet. If we're going to get cessation of this one time framing. Get the euro close in a half hour. Apple's looking, oh, that's a yes, excuse me. Where's Apple? Apple looking like it's getting a little bit of bounce off that low as well, but nothing, I mean, still down pretty significant amount, about 0.5%. You can see the weighted sectors really starting to turn back up here as the unweighted sectors are leading this move to the upside. Breadth is still flat and we have a balanced profile, so makes sense. Michael, thank you for the sub on YouTube, my man. And then shout out to FlopYT, XZ1Cast, and Junior Wingman on Twitch. If you guys are watching, for liking over the weekend, I think I played a little bit of Fortnite with those guys. Dogs in here bullying my wife and kids. Warden. Hang on a second, guys. We'll be right back. I like the convo and the way you read. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I like to keep it nice and cool, keep a nice convo going, and just keep it real. You know what I mean? It looks like that C high is pretty mechanical. We do have about 45 seconds until the next period opens up. So that's kind of will be the first target as D session opens. They'll be looking to pretty much pop that C high to see if they can clean up that mechanical reference. If not, probably just more chop. It's been a real chop. I never played the new Battlefield, but I did hear that it was just, it was terrible. And I was a Battlefield fan until like Battlefield. I really liked Battlefield 3. I thought the sniping was super realistic on Battlefield 3, and I had a lot of fun with that. But then Battlefield 4 was kind of just like the only fun game mode was the big war game mode, and then Battlefield 5 was just complete shit, I heard. The new Call of Duty comes out soon, the Modern Warfare. That should be pretty good. No? Okay. Mm. VWAP right here at that 64. There's more chop here. Volume is starting to come in a little bit lower here, but no real follow through again. Sellers look trapped on that 65.50 now. See if they can get back down there. They're offering hard on the 66, not making any progress though. Used to love COD than Battlefield, but yeah, they fucked up that Battlefield. Yeah, it used to be awesome. Yeah, I used to love playing Battlefield, but then yeah, they ruined it. I don't know why they had to ruin such a good thing. But look for that C high here as this thing's kind of ticking back up. We keep getting some selling off of this 69.70 level. Oh, they get back below that 65.50.
What Gears of War, did you ever play that?
Yeah, Gears of War was a blast. Yeah. I haven't played the new one though, but I heard the new one was good. I really like. What's that?
I said it was my go-to. I never played the new one though.
Yeah, I heard the new one was just amazing. I didn't know people played it like competitively online. I used to just play like the story mode with my brother. but I never knew it was like an online competitive game.
They had like tournaments and shit.
Yeah. It used to throw me off switching between Gears of War and Call of Duty because the buttons were like just opposite. And that was back before they had all the settings where you could just change all the buttons however you want.
What never ceases to amaze me is the people that make money while other people watch them play. Like that kills me.
Mm-hmm. The unweighted sector is really trying to drive the market up here. Buyer's trying to lift the offer here. Kind of struggling though. Volume coming in right here on the 68.5. Metal Gear Solid was fun too, yeah. That was a good game. Yeah, campaign was super good. And they actually made it hard. I like a game that makes a campaign version hard where you can't just like, kind of spray and pray your way through the game.
Well, I like how there used to be multiple player where you could have two player like on one screen stuff. I think they got rid of all that. Like there's almost no multiplayer, on one screen anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there used to be a game called Army of Two back on the PlayStation, and that was a fun game too. And it was a
Great one. Yeah. I forgot about that. That was a great game.
Yeah, that was fun. And then Halo, of course, the classic. And Halo actually had a hard story mode.
That was a hard game actually.
Yeah, if you played on Legendary, especially the original Halo, it was not an easy campaign to beat. Volume coming in up here. Meta just said that they're going to introduce music sharing. The MES is your video game. Not a bad game. Looks like big volume trying to cover here. 68 quarter. This big trade that came in 68 quarter, 138 lots. Another big order coming down here on 67. They might have trapped some buyers up there at the 69 looking for a breakout. See if they can get any continuation, get back below that settle. 62 half, still half back, 62.75 half back. Command and Conquer was a good one too. That big seller just still sitting there on the 68 quarter here. So if the market gets above the 68 quarter, you'll look for short covering, but really until it gets above there, you're just kind of in a chop zone here. And look at the tapering that's going on the top. You're really starting to get this kind of tapering off the top. Market really wants to try to get some expansion if there's going to be any continuation to the upside. If not, you're just going to keep getting these rotations. Seller moving down 67.5. I jumped out of the way quick there. Apple still down 0.8. Microsoft down 0.6. Google's flat. Amazon down 0.45. Tesla down 0.3. Meta's down 1.3. AMD down 0.25. Netflix is basically flat. Tesla 0.26. You look at the Apple profile, right? Real similar to this lowercase b shape, which just indicates a liquidation, right? Which makes sense, right? No real continuation. So we know there's not really a ton of selling, but it makes sense that they get a little bit of liquidation into earnings coming up this week on Thursday, right? And I bet if we probably look at a couple of these other tech stocks, Microsoft looking very similar as well, Google looking similar, Amazon looking similar, Tesla also looking similar, even Meta's looking similar, right? A little bit more of a liquidation than the other ones, but let's see if we clean up this C high. Remember the C high was mechanical off that open.
So what do you think about the I think they said 47,000 boats that are sitting out on the docks over in China waiting to get loaded and unloaded? This is like you said a third or a quarter of all ships are outside China ports right now. I mean, it's like crazy picture to see.
Yeah, I've been seeing it for, I mean, it seems like they're purposely doing it to try to slow down the growth, right? To try to, possibly catch up because they're kind of struggling. They've been shutting down a lot with COVID over there. And that's kind of what's,
Pretty locking people up.
the holdup. Yeah, they've been kind of basically just telling people that they're stuck and that's where they have to stay at. But honestly, like, I don't know. It's tough to decipher if any of this is like if what they're really doing or if they're just kind of repositioning boats. I know we have satellite imaging of what's going on over there because that's how we track a lot of the other people, but this supply chain constraint has been happening since, I mean, really since like September last year. And it's just getting kind of more media focused now that the market is actually coming down because, people need somewhere to place blame, especially the general populace. I don't think this is the first time any supply chain issues have been constrained, but, it's just kind of like an accordion, and we've kind of seen that with the market, right? The market's kind of, it's gone up a little bit, gone down a little bit, gone up a little bit, gone down a little bit. So I don't really, I don't know, I don't really buy into that supply constraint issue, because most of the stuff that China's manufacturing is, goods, not like commodities or food or anything like that. It's like TVs and you know bullshit stuff that we don't really necessarily need, just want. Liquidation there, so unable to take that C high again. Do you find that absorption moves a certain way when watching price zoomed in or on the DOM? Um, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to tell. Really, you just like when I think about absorption, what I think is like all of a sudden you get to, a level like a mechanical level like here, right? And you'll start to see, we'll watch this volume and see if it just starts to grow without any ticks down. So tick down on it, ticks down. And see, they get that continuation there, so there's not really much absorption yet. You have this thin spot right here. The 62.5 has been kind of a big level. Weak on the low there. I don't know what you mean though, double R. Like, what do you, like, moves a certain way? What do you mean? I'm really looking, like, when I'm looking for that absorption or looking for like those trapped sellers or trapped buyers, looking for them to like hit a level and volume just to increase like this. So if we get above that 48, I think these 88 sellers are probably trapped down here. So there's an 88. Get a little bit of selling. Let me erase this so we can see it. We came back up here, kind of backfilled that. I think these sellers that are trying to push this thing down got trapped there. And then it comes back into the weak volume, and you kind of expect them to try to re-offer that if they want to come down, and I'm looking for it to get right there, back to that level. But then they cover again. There's a big seller on the 66.75. That was a while back, 11.11. 3 minutes ago. And so, like, basically, I just watched that level. This was the original weak level, this 60, or 58, excuse me. And if there's no continuation, which it looks like there is now, then I would just assume that, you know, there's somebody absorbing down here. See, so again, no continuation again. And so each time it comes down and doesn't get continuation, right, look at all the volume pouring in, and then it ticked back up, ticked back up, ticked back up. So this is definitely sellers moving down to try to sell in here, but we're not getting any continuation. So as it comes back up, if it comes back up, right, gets back up to the 60 level, I expect them to start covering. And then they target things like halfback and then the settle. Thank you for the follow on Facebook. I wish I could say the name, but I just don't know. Going to watch how we act at this C low, overnight pour low. Yeah, that'll be an interesting spot. Weak spot 60.50 still, so without these buyers popping that 60.50, probably continue to get some more downside. Sellers still being aggressive down here. Apple's coming down now as well. This D is still sitting inside of C period, just balancing. Yeah, no problem, Double R. Glad that helped. Weak spot right here at that 60 half. Look to see if these sellers move back down. Still offering a bit here. Little short covering there. Look to see if buyers step up and try to push this thing back up over that 62 half. That's been a big level all day, pretty much. And the VWAP sitting right at 64. Volume coming in on that 62 or 61 quarter, excuse me. VWAP 64. So Apple put in some excess down on the low after repairing that weak low. At 62.75 been the big area. Let's see if they can pop that. They're looking to get back above the settle and then just chop, chop, chop. You know, still inside this balance. Remember, volume is, or excuse me, value is overlapping still, right? Pretty much unchanged value. Did break the Globex low by a few ticks, but no real follow through. And then still inside Friday's range. We haven't really seen a big sense of supply or demand come out at all. You know, just in balancing. That's it. That's all we can really say. That bit of balance. Do you think that people with large buy orders might sometimes have to move their price down? Sometimes I think that I can see the different levels of absorption stepping down on the DOM before it reverses for a bit. Yeah, I do. I mean, you know, a lot of these traders are not going to be attached to one single price level unless they're scalping. And that's how we try to catch them when they're trying to scalp a mechanical level. But yeah, like on a way down like this, you know, like especially when it was at that 59 level, right? It kind of seemed like they slowly bought and we saw the volume kind of trickle in, and it was a little bit of a trap down there. But it seems also kind of like that you see it drying out, you know what I mean? Like you just see the selling just dry out at the lows here. But then the same thing on the inverse side, we've seen the buying just dry out on the upside as well. And Euro closes about 7 minutes away here. But this to see it on the DOM, if you're starting to see it on the DOM, that's a sign of your brain starting to recognize those patterns, right? And it's hard to teach that, which is why I don't, because I don't think I don't think it's never the same. You know what I mean? It's similar, but and you can, you know, if you're looking at the DOM, you might pick up on it because you're watching the DOM so much, and you're like, oh, I've seen them do this before. I've seen them do this before. I've seen, you know, and it's the same thing on the profile. But you know, once you switch to that DOM, if you don't have any idea of kind of who's in control of the day, right? And today we were seeing just shorter term time frame traders just basically just sell the highs and buy the lows, or buy breaks and sell rallies, as you know, Jim would say. It's I mean, it's kind of just, you know, you're just doing yourself a disservice, and you're going to start trying to force to see things. You know, and then another thing too, like you want to think about like how many opportunities has there been, right? And depending upon who, you know, which kind of side you're on it. And I'm not really a type of person to trade both sides of the market. I mean, yeah, there's opportunity sometimes, but typically I just try to be patient and wait for the trade. So in reality for me, there's been you know, two, and then there was a third opportunity here, about 3 trades so far of opportunity today. I've taken 3 trades today, and that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I'm not really looking to get in and get out and get in and get out and get in and get out. It's, you know, not something that I'm a fan of or really advocate for, right? And if you're looking on that short side, there's been 4 opportunities, right? Every time we've got above the open, we weren't able to hold it, and faded back down at least to below the settle. So you're looking 71 to 65. That's a 5-point move. And if you took one lot, 1, 2, 3, 4, so you take 4 lots, even if you're on the MES, 4 times 5 is 20, times 5 is $100. So even if you're trading the MES, right, that's $100 just by taking 4 trades, and cutting them at the settle, right? You could have kept some runners, could have, you know, a little bit more there, but you know, there's been 4 high quality short setups, and there's been about 3 high quality long setups, I think.
But I thought that you kind of recognize these patterns was kind of what made you good at this. I mean, are we kind of looking for patterns?
Yeah, we are on the TPO. But I think if you
Oh, you're saying on the DOM is the
yeah, because the DOM can be very misleading if you're not able to recognize the patterns. Basically what I'm saying is if you're not able to recognize the patterns on the TPO, going to the DOM is not going to change. The DOM is a scalping tool, but that you can utilize for high quality entries, I think, but not really necessary. And if you're not understanding like the opportunities inside here, the DOM's going to show you a million opportunities inside this area. A bunch. There's probably hundreds of opportunities inside here. But really, if you ask me, there's only been 4 opportunities on the short side and 3 opportunities, you know, maybe a 4th one on the long side today. And I mean, you could have caught each side. You could be doing the same thing that most of this other traders are doing, which is buying breaks and selling rallies. And you can ride your trade up and then ride your trade down, and ride it up and then ride it down. You know, that's the market has been doing that pretty much all day. So there's been the opportunity, but if you're not recognizing these opportunities on the TPO, getting to the DOM is just gonna probably throw you for a loop and really just I mean, probably damage your bank account. Yeah, when I use the word pattern, it's different from the traditional use of the word that traders use it for, like head and shoulders, WM, etc. Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah. I'm the same way, TJ. I'm talking like a pattern of supply and demand, like the patterns you see in supply and demand. Everything's in context, isn't it? And that for me is the biggest hurdle, taking everything I need to into account and understand the likelihood of something happening based upon the conditions and the context. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. That sounds like a Jim Dalton quote right there. It really is. Like, understanding the context is so important, because we could be in a bearish market, right? People say this is a bear trend, and they're thinking, okay, well, if we're in a bear trend, is when the market goes up, I'm just going to short it. Well, if they did that last week, they got punished because the market went up for 6 days in a row, 7 days in a row, technically, and then came down on Friday. But excuse me, it's it's been pretty almost obvious, you know what I mean? Like, that, hard to explain. Like, I mean, it's just so, it's so, that's it, it's like every day you have to take with a grain of salt, because everything is different every single day, because the competitors are different every single day. The competitors' emotions are different every single day, right? How people feel every single day is going to be different. And that's why we focus so much on psychology here, because you want to be in that, same spot, or that Zen spot every day. And if you can, then you're going to be a step ahead of these other traders. Whereas a lot of these traders come into it with all this emotion, and they don't really get anything. And they're just trading by the seat of their pants every single day. And on a day like today, depending upon how big their account is, they might do great. But when it comes to a trend day, they'll get smashed, or vice versa, right? Some people can't trade this because they want to take every breakout, and that's what their psychology is addicted, because they're not paying attention to context. And so what happens is, like, a lot of people are like, the market's going to fucking crash, and they're short from down here below 62, when we've been saying all day we don't want to get short below 62, right? So E period gets that cessation of one time framing, cleans up that D, but now this E high is mechanical. Starting to see some volume coming up on the top. We're looking to see if we can squeeze out some of these stops. And Europe is closing out here now too. Starting to see the weighted sectors really start to tick up here. Apple's starting to make a little bit of a comeback as well. Remember how long this C high held mechanically, right? D traded all the way down to 57. This is why, if you're not in a position here, you're not looking to be like, oh, I'm gonna buy this breakout, right? And it might go, and the breakout might work, but this is a situation where, the better odds, as far as today has gone contextually, it to short the rallies, or sell a rally and buy breaks. Some people hear us say patterns, and I think their brain is looking for something else. Yeah, that can definitely be true, TJ. I think so too. You say that IEB were a good short back to settlement, but how do you know that was going to be the B high? So I mean, not necessarily that right? It's odds based. So as B came up, as B came up and didn't take the A high, we saw volume tapering. So basically kind of just dried out here. And then it got back below the open and back below really the volume, showing that buyers weren't willing to step up and continue higher. You fade it back down. But I'm not saying you just get short here and hold, right? You'd have a stop loss at that A high. That A high would get taken out, then you'd lose the trade, right? Losing trades is part of trading. That's just how it is. We can't win every trade. I keep hearing Morpheus in my head. He's beginning to believe. Nobody makes the first jump, right? But that's good. That's cool, Double R. That's nice. It's like it's when you get those aha moments, or those, like, moments where things are just starting to click. Only thing is, you just have to remember that every day's a new day. So you got to keep it clicking, keep improving. Watch triple Q. Might just start to rally here. The triple Q. Triple Q starting to come back to life here. And then, like, to go back to kind of like the patterns, right? It wasn't really looking like a pattern on the ES, but we had gone through these tech sectors, right? And we saw, oh, they kind of look like a lowercase b. Microsoft kind of looks like a B. Google kind of looks like a B. Tesla kind of looks like a B. Meta kind of looked like a B, right? Netflix, kind of looks like a B, right? Similar things where we see like, oh, okay, well, if these are making a B-shaped profile, typically that's indicative of short covering, or liquidation, and not real selling. And so we got excess on the low, no selling came in, and that kind of gave us that idea, oh, okay, time to go up. So contextually, if you were on the short side, you would look to get short here because we have sold off from the high of value repeatedly. So here, what I would like to see to get short is to see a retest of this point of control, right? Or to see the market get back below the open, honestly. Now that we've had a cessation of one time framing, right? Because we really hadn't had that. It had been balanced pretty much the whole time. Now we've taken out the high. So really the target for these guys is going to be back into these single prints if volume steps up. And, we're seeing volume step up. And I've been only on the long side today. Like I said, I don't really like to go back and forth. So now we have good excess. We watched the impulse, which was the 74, where all this volume came in. And we'll look to see if buyers, when they push up this second time here, if they get a little bit too long, you start to see some tapering here. But look, they come right back to the impulse and they hold. So no pushback below the impulse yet. I'll look for a short for you. Okay. So there you go, back below the impulse. Look for volume to come in. Offers moving down. And sellers got too aggressive again right there. And this is why I've been kind of sticking on the long side all day, because these sellers just keep getting too aggressive. These are shorter term time frame traders just getting a little bit too aggressive a lot of times and causing that bounce back and really just making the market extremely choppy. So there's opportunity here. We're back below that impulse. There's opportunity here. These sellers continue to step down for them to target back down to that VPOC, that 69, but really below that, if buyers don't step up, it might chop down to the settle. Watch for mechanical buying on the open. How do you say it? Kaha a win. Thank you for the sub on YouTube, man. Appreciate it. I've had a recent spell of studying and haven't traded for a while. I've realized that completely separating the theory and practical works better for me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like a few different skills that you have to master and learn to kind of mash together to, become successful at trading. Right? Because, analyzing is completely different than actually doing it, right? Because you don't have the emotions there. Adam, thank you for the sub, man. You don't have the emotions there. And if you guys are new members and just joining us for the first time, comment down or comment in the chat and I'll post the Discord for you. We have a Discord that we do. It doesn't it doesn't cost anything. There's a boot camp in there that covers the basics, and then the only thing that I ask is that you just be positive and respectful, right? We have a really good community, not like a lot of other Discord communities with a bunch of trolls and hate. We're all trying to build each other up, and really not blowing up the Discord with bullshit all the time. We're just just there to trade and enjoy our time, which is what TTV is a double entendre for, that time to value. GG's, Michael. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, well, see you later. Have a good day. Risky. So if you're short right here from the impulse, right, from the 73-ish area, and we're just kind of chopping back and forth, really haven't got any movement either way, you're starting to see a bid form right below the open, kind of telling us that there is a seller that's probably looking to cover right below that open. So you might get a pop before that if they start to front run and not get filled. Seeing a little bit of offering coming down this 72 quarter that's getting absorbed, but it still looks like there's going to be a little bit more continuation down here. Just want to look to see how this bid trades. Yeah, there's the front run. Not really a huge response there. Oh, I think that seller, that shorter term seller was covered here. So let's see if these longs start liquidating their stops probably below the open or below that ELO right at that 69-ish area. A lot of volume coming in up here though, so makes you definitely want to be managing risk if you're short from up here. Yeah, watch the 70-50 here. Below that 70-50, you might get more movement to the downside, maybe back down to the 65 to settle. I went straight for the technical side of trading without really understanding the economic macro, and I have no financial business background, so I still have a lot to learn, but it's definitely coming together lately. Yeah, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. I'm glad to see that you're putting it together. And remember, like I always say, like, it's you guys that are doing the work, so make sure that you're paying yourself the credit that's due, because it's not, I'm just maybe, providing tips here and there, but it's you guys that are actually putting the work and putting the pieces together. I'm more just handing you a box of puzzle pieces and saying, hey, this thing goes together if you can figure it out. So still a little bit more short covering here right down before the open, it looked like. See if they can get some supply moving down. Look at the tick today too. There really hasn't been any, strong selling. You've got, what's this, 1, 2, and then the first one I don't even count. So like 3 times where there's been a tick that's closed below the 0 level. And if you're on the YouTube and you're scrolling down below the video and that you're joining that Discord, it's it's the wrong link. You're joining a Discord that's not the right link. So if you want the real link, just comment in the chat or send me an email at brad@thetradebets.com and I will send you the good stuff. We just don't want a bunch of bots or a bunch of assholes joining the Discord. That's all. And if you're an asshole and you can keep it together, then, we'll have you. Because I understand that sometimes. Working on yourself is just as important as the Foley sometimes, right? That's got to be half the study unless you're perfect in every way. Yeah, I mean, that's why I push psychology so much, because once you start to understand yourself, you understand that, you're just a person just like everybody else that's trading the market, and you can really get an insight onto what they're probably thinking or what their psychology is, and that's kind of like we talked about how I think it's more of like a three-part thing, and I lean more heavy on the psychology piece. But if you were to take like a third of your time and work on your psychology, a third of your time and work on your market analyzation, and a third of your time on actually practicing and refining your trading, managing risk is what culminates with all of those together. And that's what turns you into a consistent trader over time. And it's a completely different beast when you're like, oh man, I said you should have bought this at this, and then you look 3 weeks later, you haven't looked at the chart and it's way up, and you're like, oh, I fucking knew it. But if you didn't trade it, it's completely different, right? Because how many times have you gotten a trade where you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this this C low, and then you closed it right here at 60 for a 3-point gain when it traded all the way up to the 76. Had you been a little bit more patient or just kind of identified what's more or less going on with the day today. Oops. The fuck? So they got right down to that open. Looked like they came down to 71 and found a buyer down there at the open. So that seems a bit mechanical as well, but now we're getting back above that A high. They're starting to pour in some more volume. Look at all the volume that came in above the open here. I watch this half back here. Really, like their target, like I said, I think is going to be that point of control. They got that strong reaction off that Friday point of control. B did take it a bit lower, but you still have some trapped long inventory up here, so that's what we're looking to get back up there to cover. Might write that down. Writing stuff down is great. I write down shit like all day. That's why I like that Good Notes app. There's an app called Good Notes. I think it's Good Notes 5 now. But you can get it on all your devices. You can get it on your computer, you can get it on your iPad, you can get it on your phone. So like no matter what you're doing or where you're at, you think of something, because you never know, like you're doing something and you're like, oh shit, that's a good idea, I should check that out. And then you get home and you're like, fuck, what was I thinking of? And then you can't think of it, right? But if you wrote it down in your Good Notes, then you know where it's at. And I'm not sponsored or no ad for Good Notes or anything like that. Just something that I do. Bought some extra pads that fit in the pocket. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I get like with my notebooks, I start to get like a little bit disorganized. But if you have a small one, that's a lot better. But like a big 3-ring binder, I just I just would start to get all over the place with that, especially with the move and stuff. But yeah, if you have a nice one that fits in the pocket, that way you can just whip it out at any time. That's a good idea. Apple's still trying to get up above its open. Look around real quick. Apple's down 0.3, Microsoft down 0.3, Google down 0.5, Amazon down 0.7, Tesla down 0.4, Meta down 1.3, AMD down 2.3, Netflix is up 0.25. The VIX is coming down a little bit, only up about 1.8 now. Gold down 0.7, bonds down 0.1. Russell's green up 0.7, Dow's up 0.3, oil's up 0.8, 1.8, I mean. NASDAQ is still the one lagging behind, down about 0.4. Better for your memory? Yeah, I agree with that too. I think writing stuff down is definitely will help it stick better for anybody too. I don't think it's I don't think that's a personal thing. I think everybody would do better if they wrote all their things down, grades, all of that good stuff. A peek at the volume real quick. Yeah, volume's still down about 14% compared to Friday. Go back down to this big volume that came back up. A drop below that and then below the open might not be great. Never written so much often in my 32 years. Yeah, you know, and it really can. I mean, it can just change, you know, change dramatically a bunch of things, and like you'll start to feel like your memory gets better, even though you are rereading it. But then a lot of times you're like, oh, I already remember that. I don't even need to read. I know what it says. Starting to get some bearish signs. Yeah, it does look like it. Yeah, if it starts to hold below this open, I think we might rotate back down. Even that high, that would have been a nice fade. Been all long trades till now. Me too. I closed my last ones at 72 before that pop up. I missed like the rest of the run upside. 71.50, 71.50, 72, 72. I'm just cautious of any downside trades yet until we get some continuation. And then even then, like we just come back into like this chop box here. Value is just overlapping and no real, I mean, the range is 77 to 52. You're looking at like 27 points. Nothing. 75 to 73. Nice. 6 minutes left till this next period opens up. Damn, Dave Chappelle showed up. Dave Chappelle showed up to surprise the Rock Hard show in NYC. Damn, that's probably so sick. Yeah, I'd like to see us sit below the open before I start to try any of these shorts. I mean, there's opportunity, like you said, you know, you cut that 75 to 73 and that's a 2-point trade, you know, nothing to laugh at all. You know, I just like to wait for confirmation, especially because, you know, more up. Tommy, what's up, man? We've been saving this 27-point range for you all day, so now that you're here, maybe we can get some continuation. Apple coming back up to its open here. Yeah, you didn't miss much. No. Starting to see the breath pick up a little bit here. We have, I mean, 1.77, that's the highest it's been so far today. Nasdaq's still lagging behind here, but like we said, there's really been no selling in the tick yet. So as we come back down to the zero, let's see. We're making higher lows here on the tick. But, you know, overall, mostly just balance, right? We can see we have good excess during that E session. Where's my pen? You know, good excess in the E session. Pretty balanced down to B, and then good excess on that B low. So might be flipping back to 1 tick increments here pretty soon. If your profile looks different than mine and this is the first time joining in, it might be because I'm on a 2 tick increment that I'll stay on until the VIX gets back below 20. Just because there's just no need to be on a single tick increment. Big bid stepping up here. It looks like they're cashing out. Well, as this thing's coming back down here, when we get below the open, if you start to pick up some tempo below this VPOC, that's when we'll probably have some opportunity to trade back down to those lower ranges. And then you just want to watch, you know, watch the settle. You see half back has extended a little bit, but we have that 62 half level in our head. And then this overnight point of control has been, you know, pretty reactive spot as well. Google's starting to come down here too, looking to break Friday's low. Amazon looking like it already did break Friday's low. Coming down as well. Microsoft coming back. Crazy though. Apple still holding the market up here. 1 minute till this next period opens up. Back to all the volume. This E period has just been the tightest range. 7 points, 7.5 points here. F period opens up. Let's see what we get. So remember, something that I consider here is I'm going to consider this E, these 2 ticks on this E period single prints. I know it's not a book thing, but just an area that if they don't close this back into the profile and bring the profile back to value, so now we've got 1 tick here, then it's just showing me that the supply is weak. So they close it. So no need to worry about it now, but just something that I do. That seems mechanical there. Not running off the open. But with that, it is noon for me. I think I'm going to call it here. I hope everyone had a wonderful time hanging out. It was good to see some new names in the chat. And you know, if you guys are new, don't be afraid to... Oh, I missed the thing. Vikram said, Chinese turn off the radar and lights on their boats. They use the trick while buying coal from the DPRK. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised too. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. If you don't have a trade plan, don't trade. If you don't know how to make a trade plan, jump in our Discord and we will help you out. A lot of people post their trade plan every single day, including myself. You guys have a wonderful day and I'll catch you all later. See you, Pop. See you, Adam. Double R. See you, Roach. Trin.
See you, Brad.
See you,
Love
Dan.
you guys.
CP. See ya. Day Trader. See ya. See you, TJ.